There's a gentlelady from Florida, Mrs. Cammack, for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am so happy that we are finally here working on this much-needed farm bill. It's been a long time coming. Farmers and producers across the country have been operating in limbo for years, and that spans across a lot of different administrations. That uncertainty makes it hard to plan, invest, and quite frankly, even survive. The Farm Bill is not just another piece of legislation. It is the backbone of American agriculture, food security, and our rural communities. For Florida, this markup comes after years of compounding challenges. Our producers have endured hurricanes, 3 in my district alone, historic flooding, and most recently a brutal historic freeze that hit specialty crops, citrus, and nursery operations particularly hard. These are not one-year losses. For perennial crops like citrus trees, you lose decades of work overnight, and recovery is not quick. It takes time, flexibility, and a safety net that actually reflects how farming works today. Now, tonight, it's early in the night, but I've already heard an incredible amount of blaming being thrown around the room and pointing of fingers of which administration to blame. You know, the farm economy, it is hurting. But candidly, our producers don't care who broke it. They just want it fixed. Decades of overregulation, high input costs, labor issues, broken systems, and natural disasters have made it damn near impossible to produce a crop. That is the reality. Now, no bill is perfect, and no bill ever will be perfect. But I am really proud of this farm bill. And as the only member of Congress representing Florida agriculture in both the House and the Senate, I want to say that there are some tremendous wins for my home state, the Sunshine State. First, I want to highlight improvements to the tree assistance program. This legislation modernizes TAP to recognize economic realities. Covering trees and plants that are no longer productive after a disaster, not just those that are completely destroyed. This gives producers the flexibility to replant different varieties or move operations if needed. And more importantly, it requires USDA to make decisions within 120 days. That kind of accountability, certainty, and flexibility matters, and I dare any member in this committee to challenge that. It also allows for upfront TAP payments. And that's huge. When a hurricane or a freeze hits, growers don't have extra cash sitting around to replant first and then hope that help comes later. There is a critical cash flow critical cash flow needs and relief when needed when disaster strikes, especially after freezes and hurricanes. Secondly, I'm very encouraged by the creation of the Specialty Crop Emergency Assistance Framework. Specialty crops are high value, high input, and historically underserved by disaster programs designed around row crops. Now, of course, I may be biased because I represent Florida, which is home to over 300 specialty crops. And in the winter months, I must remind everyone, feeds 193 million Americans. This framework in particular directs USDA to calculate assistance based on prior year specialty crop sales and explicitly considers higher input costs and diverse business structures. That recognition matters. It matters to producers who grow fruits, vegetables, and tree crops and who have too often been forced into one-size-fits-all disaster programs. Now, just as importantly, the bill provides higher payment flexibility for full-time producers, those who derive at least 75% of their income from farming, ranching, and for many Florida specialty crop producers, this change will make the difference between meaningful recovery or no recovery assistance at all. Third, the continuation of the specialty crop block grants and market news funding gives states the flexibility to respond to producer-driven priorities. In Florida, these programs support everything from disease research to marketing, food safety, and export readiness, and they are a critical tool for keeping our specialty crop sector competitive. I'd also like to highlight the incorporation of key provisions of my bill, the Rural Internet Improvement Act. These provisions will bring rural development and broadband investments, including the reauthorization and expansion of USDA broadband programs. In rural Florida, connectivity is not a luxury. It is essential for precision agriculture, disaster response, telemedicine, and workforce retention. These provisions help ensure that rural communities are not left behind. Now, I want to note the importance of stability across the safety net, provisions that ensure USDA can continue servicing sugar loans during lapses in appropriations provide the certainty that those producers need, regardless of what is happening in Washington. Mr. Chairman, as I said, no farm bill is perfect, but this bill reflects a real effort to listen to our producers. I encourage my colleagues to support, and with that, I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired.